I still remember the sound of the airplane wheels hitting the runway that morning. 15 years, 15 long years away from home. I left my country with a suitcase full of hopes and a heart full of promises. I told myself I would return stronger, better, and ready to give my daughter the life she deserved. But sometimes life punishes you for the very dreams you chase. As I walked through the airport, pulling the same old black bag I carried when I left, I felt like a stranger in my own homeland. Buildings looked taller, faces looked younger, and even the smell of the air had changed. But inside me, one thing stayed the same: the picture of my daughter, Layla, smiling at me from that last day. She was only 7 when I left, too young to understand why her father needed to leave, old enough to feel the emptiness. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "She'll be here soon." She must have grown into a beautiful young woman. But deep inside, something felt wrong. I didn't know why. Maybe it was the silence. Maybe it was the fear that she hated me for leaving. Or maybe it was something darker, something I could not name yet. I took a taxi to the address I had always kept memorized, my old house, the house I had built with my bare hands, the house where Layla was born, the house where her laughter once filled every morning. The taxi stopped in front of it. My heart dropped. It wasn't our house anymore. The yard was clean but unfamiliar. The windows had new frames. There was a new expensive car in the driveway. For a moment, I thought I had made a mistake. But no, the old apricot tree by the gate was still there, the one Layla and I planted together when she was 4. It was taller now, strong and heavy with branches, just like her, or so I hoped. I walked closer, ready to knock on the door, maybe to see a stranger open it and tell me I had the wrong place. But before I reached it, the door opened on its own. A girl stepped out. She wore a long gray dress, the kind housemaids usually wear. Her hair was tied back, simple and tired. Her hands carried a bucket and some cleaning cloths. She looked down as she stepped outside, too busy to notice me. Then she raised her head, and the world stopped. It was her, Layla, my daughter. But she didn't smile. She didn't run to me. She didn't even call me Dad. She looked at me with wide, frightened eyes like she had seen a ghost. "Layla?" I whispered, my voice shaking. She froze. Her breath hitched. For a moment, I saw the little girl who used to hold my hand so tightly. But then she looked over her shoulder, inside the house, as if afraid someone might see her talking to me. "Please," she whispered so quietly I barely heard it. "You shouldn't be here." My heart cracked. "Layla, what's going on? Why are you dressed like this? Whose house is this?" Her lips trembled, but she didn't answer. Instead, she stepped aside to let an older woman pass by her, a woman dressed in expensive clothes, holding her purse like a queen holding her crown. "Layla," the woman snapped, "why are you standing there? Finish cleaning the living room." Layla bowed her head instantly. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I'll finish it right away." I felt something inside me burn. Who was this woman talking to my daughter like that? Why was Layla obeying her like a servant? And worse, why was Layla living in my own house as a maid? The older woman glared at me. "Who are you?" she demanded. Before I could answer, Layla grabbed my arm. "Dad, please don't make a scene." "Dad." She called me Dad. But her voice was full of fear, not love. And that was the moment I knew, whatever happened in the last 15 years, it wasn't just bad, it was devastating. Something had taken my daughter's life away, and I wasn't going to leave until I uncovered every truth. Layla led me away from the house quickly, pulling me by the sleeve like she used to when she was a little girl and wanted ice cream before dinner. But now, her hands were shaking, her steps were rushed, and she looked back every few seconds as if someone was following us. We stopped behind the apricot tree, the same one we planted together. It shielded us from the view of the house. "Dad," she whispered shakily, "you should have told me you were coming. You shouldn't have come here at all." Her words cut deeper than any knife. "Layla, what is happening? Why are you working as a maid? And in our house?" She flinched when I said, "Our." Her eyes lowered. "It's not ours anymore," she said softly. I felt the ground slipping beneath me. But how? When I left, everything was in your mother's name. Everything should have been passed down to you. She closed her eyes. Dad, Mom didn't keep the house. She remarried and things changed. My heart twisted painfully. I expected many things when I left. I expected difficulties, loneliness, sacrifices. But I never expected this. My daughter stripped of everything I worked for. Did your stepfather do this to you? I asked. No, she said quickly. Too quickly. I knew that tone. It was the voice of someone trying to protect others, even the ones who didn't deserve protection. She wouldn't lie to hurt me. She would lie to protect someone. Then who? I pressed. Her eyes filled with tears. That woman, she whispered. The one you saw. The one treating you like you're nothing? I asked, anger rising. She nodded slowly. She's the owner's wife. Owner? I repeated, confused. Who owns the house now? Layla hesitated, then breathed out slowly. My ex-husband. The world tilted. You're what? Layla, you're 22. I got married early. And he made you a maid in your own home? She looked away. It's complicated. No, it's not complicated. It's cruel. I reached out and held her shoulders gently. Layla, talk to me. Tell me everything. Her lips trembled again. Please, Dad, if they see us talking too long, they'll punish me. My blood boiled. Who will punish you? She swallowed hard. His mother, the woman you saw. My voice rose. Layla. But she covered my mouth with her hand. Dad, please, they already think I'm useless. If they see me talking to a man outside the house, they'll say I'm shaming them. I remove her hand carefully. You are my daughter, my blood. No one can shame you. No one can punish you. Not while I'm alive. She shook her head. You don't understand. I don't belong to that house anymore. I live in the basement. I clean the rooms. I serve his family. I cook. I wash. I do everything. Why don't you leave? I whispered. She looked down. Because my documents, my money, my things, they have everything. And I owe them. Owe them? I repeated. For what? For the wedding debt, she said, ashamed. Then it hit me like a punch. People here do it often. Lavish weddings, debts, loans taken from in-laws, and then the bride becomes a servant to pay back. But this was my daughter. The little girl who cried when I left for Canada. The little girl who used to chase butterflies in our yard. The little girl I promised to build a better life for. How long have you been living like this? I asked. She hesitated. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of slavery inside the house where her childhood memories lived. Layla, I said, my voice trembling, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you tell me? She shook her head. I thought you forgot about me. You never wrote. I closed my eyes. 15 years abroad, working 2 jobs, sleeping 5 hours a night, saving money for her, always for her. But I never called enough, never visited, never made her feel protected. And now, someone else controlled her life, someone who used my absence to break her spirit. I opened my eyes and held her cold hands. Layla, I didn't come back after 15 years to watch you suffer. I'm here now, and I won't leave without you. Her tears spilled. Dad, they won't let me go. I leaned closer, my voice low. Then I'll make them. And for the first time in years, I saw hope flicker inside her. I walked back toward the house. My feet felt heavy, like the entire world was pressing down on my shoulders. Layla followed behind me, trembling at every step. I could tell she didn't want to return inside those walls, but she had no choice. Not yet. When we reached the gate, the older woman, my daughter's former mother-in-law, stood there waiting, arms crossed, lips tight like a drawn bow. So, she said sharply, this is the man who left his daughter to be raised by strangers. I clenched my fists but forced myself to stay calm. I'm her father, I answered, and I didn't leave her with you. I left her with her mother. She smirked, and her mother sold her to us through marriage. Layla gasped, Ma'am, please. Quiet, the woman barked, not even looking at her. I took a step forward. You don't talk to her like that. Not in front of me. The woman raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what will you do? You left for 15 years. We took her in. We clothed her. We fed her. And now she works to repay what she owes us. Owes you? I repeated. Try not to shout. She owes you nothing. She owes us the wedding cost, the jewelry, the furniture, all of which you forced on her, I said. She narrowed her eyes. You don't know how things work here anymore, do you? Your daughter is our property until she pays her debt. Property. That word made my blood boil. Layla, the woman added with venom, go inside. You're already late. Layla looked at me with terrified eyes, waiting for my permission. Mine. The father she had been separated from for 15 years. I grabbed her hand. She's not going anywhere. The woman's expression hardened instantly. You dare interfere? Yes, I said firmly. From today on, I'm interfering in everything. Before she could respond, a man stepped out of the house. Tall, well-dressed, maybe 27, this must have been Layla's ex-husband. He looked at me with cold, bored eyes, like I was just another inconvenience. What's happening here? He asked. His mother pointed her finger at me. This man claims he's Layla's father. He nodded slowly. Ah, the Canadian ghost finally appears. Canadian ghost? I repeated. He shrugged. You left her. What did you expect? I stepped forward. She deserves respect. He smirked. She's a maid. She deserves whatever we give her. I saw Layla flinch. Her hands tightened on her dress. Shame and fear mixed in her eyes. You divorced her, I said. Why is she still in your house? His smile grew colder. Because divorce doesn't erase debt. And who decides a debt? I asked. I do, he replied proudly. This man was enjoying it, the control, the power, the humiliation he placed on my daughter. You mistreat my daughter, I said softly, in the house I built with my own hands. He laughed. This house? You think you still have some claim here. I know I do. Then prove it, he said. Show a single document with your name on it. Go on. My breath caught. My name wasn't on it. Everything had been under my wife's name, and she had sold it when she remarried. I felt Layla's hand shaking beside mine. Her ex-husband leaned close. You're just a man who left his family, he whispered. And now you expect to walk in and take her away? No, she stays until we say otherwise. I stared at him for a long moment. Then I whispered back, I didn't come to ask for permission. He frowned. What? I took Layla by the hand again. You're coming with me. She gasped. Dad. But her ex-husband stepped forward. No, she's not. His mother added, if she leaves without paying the debt, we'll take legal action, and we'll ruin her reputation. Reputation. The weapon they use to keep her silent. We have witnesses, the mother smirked. We can say she ran away with a stranger. A threat. A cruel, dirty threat. Layla started to tremble again. Dad, please? My chest tightened. I couldn't drag her into deeper danger. Not yet. I stepped back slowly. But my eyes never left theirs. You think you won, I whispered. But this isn't over. The sun smirked. For her it is. I turned to Layla. I'll come back, I promised. She nodded with tears falling. I know. And as I walked away, I saw something in her ex-husband's eyes. Fear, because he realized I wasn't leaving for good. I was planning. I spent the night in a cheap hostel near the bus station. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Layla scrubbing floors, serving food to people who treated her worse than a stray cat. I hadn't been home 15 minutes, and she was already calling me Dad with fear in her voice. What had they done to her? At dawn, I walked around the old neighborhood. Streets I used to know by heart now felt like a maze of strangers. I found myself stopping in front of a small bakery, the same one Layla and I used to buy pastries from on Sundays. The owner, an older man named Ralph, recognized me instantly. Hey, aren't you the guy who went to Canada? I nodded. Yes, I'm back now. He looked at me carefully. I heard what happened to your daughter. The whole neighborhood talks about it. My stomach twisted. What do they say? He sighed, lowering his voice. They say her husband divorced her after only a year, and then the family refused to let her leave. They took her things, locked her documents. They say she lives in the basement now and works like a slave. I closed my eyes, breathing slowly through the anger. How could no one help her? Ralph shrugged. These people are rich, influential, and Layla, she's too soft. She didn't tell anyone the full story. What story? He hesitated. There was something about her marriage, something strange. Her mother, she wasn't honest with her. I narrowed my eyes. My ex-wife? He nodded. Everyone knows she treated Layla poorly. And when she remarried, she wanted Layla out of the house. The wedding was arranged quickly. Too quickly. My chest tightened. And the debt? The wedding debt they talk about. He leaned closer. That debt isn't from the wedding. That debt is from your ex-wife. I froze. What do you mean? He sighed deeply. Your ex-wife borrowed money from her new husband's family and signed the debt under Layla's name. Everything inside me went cold. She what? Ralph nodded sadly. That woman, she used your daughter as a shield. When she remarried, she didn't want to bring debt into her new life, so she pushed it all onto Layla. My hands shook. She signed documents in Layla's name when Layla was still a minor, he continued. It's illegal, but these people know how to hide things. And Layla, she didn't know. Not until after the wedding. My breath stopped. Layla, betrayed by her own mother, used as a human shield, sold into debt, and married into a family that saw her as nothing but free labor. I swallowed the burning anger, trying to stay calm. Where's my ex-wife now? Living in a big house on the other side of town, Ralph said. Living comfortably, thanks to the debt she placed on her daughter. I closed my fists. So both families used her. Ralph nodded slowly. Your daughter is paying for everyone else's sins. I felt something inside me snap. 15 years away. 15 years working to send money. Money her mother never passed to Layla. Money that probably funded her new life. I looked at the apricot-colored sunrise. It used to symbolize hope. Now it symbolized war. I'm taking her out of that house, I said, and I'm taking back what's ours. Ralph placed his hand on my shoulder. Be careful, he warned. These people are powerful. They won't let go easily. I nodded. I'm not afraid of them. I'm only afraid of losing my daughter again. I walked toward the house with fire in my chest. This time, I wasn't just a father. I was a storm. The first step was simple. Collect evidence. I wasn't going to storm in and drag Layla out. That would only put her in more danger. No. If I wanted to break this family's power, I had to destroy them from the inside. I had to expose every lie, every illegal document, every debt they forged. I started with the marriage papers. I went to the local registry office. The woman working at the desk looked bored until she typed in Layla's name. Suddenly, her face changed. Ah, this case, she murmured. What case? I asked. She pushed her glasses up. There were complications. Complications? Yes. The girl was married off in a rush. Her documents were strangely incomplete. Some pages missing. Signatures not matching. I clenched my jaw. So it wasn't legal? She hesitated. If someone challenges it, the whole marriage could be declared void. And the debt, she sighed. That debt is tied to the marriage contract. If the contract is invalid, the debt becomes invalid too. The ground felt like it shifted under me. Everything they held over Layla, everything they used to imprison her, it was built on a fake, illegal foundation. And the divorce? I asked. She nodded. That too. If the marriage collapses, everything collapses. I thanked her and walked out, my mind racing. Next, I visited a lawyer, an old friend from school named Kamal. He greeted me warmly, but looked concerned when he heard what I was dealing with. You came to the right person, he said. This family, people avoid fighting them. But you're not from here anymore. You have nothing to lose. I only have my daughter to lose, I replied. He nodded. Then we'll win. We spent hours digging through old records, scanning signatures, comparing documents. Everything pointed to one truth. Layla's entire marriage was a trap created by her mother and her in-laws. A trap to dump debt on her. A trap to silence her. A trap to use her as free labor. But something still didn't make sense. Why didn't they let her leave after the divorce? I asked. Kamal leaned back. Because the ex-husband's mother needs her. She's sick. She can't run the house alone. And hiring a maid costs money. Keeping Layla is free. So they're using her. They're draining her, he corrected. I felt rage rising again. They threatened her reputation, I said. They said they could ruin her name. Kamal nodded. That's their oldest trick. Fear, honor, shame. Words they use to keep women controlled. I exhaled slowly. So, what do we do? Kamal smiled darkly. We expose everything. But first, we need proof. Solid proof. Proof like what? A confession. Documents. Witnesses. Anything that shows they force her into debt. I leaned forward. What about the mother? My ex-wife. She's the key. If we can prove she forged papers, this family collapses instantly. I nodded. Then I'll make her talk. Kamal raised an eyebrow. How? I smiled faintly. She owes me 15 years of explanations. That afternoon, I went to see my ex-wife. Her new house was huge, elegant, paid for by the same debt she dumped on her daughter. I rang the bell. She opened the door, and her smile disappeared instantly. You, she whispered. What are you doing here? I stared at her coldly. We need to talk. She crossed her arms. We have nothing to discuss. Oh, but we do, I said. We need to talk about Layla. She's fine, my ex-wife replied sharply. She's married. She has a good family. No, I said. She's a maid. She looked away. That's her fault. No, I repeated. That's yours. Her eyes flickered. What exactly are you accusing me of? I stepped closer. You signed documents under her name. You gave her debt you created. You threw her into a marriage she didn't choose. Her lips trembled. You can't prove anything. I smiled slowly. I don't need to prove it yet. I just need you to confess. I'll never confess. I leaned in. Then I'll make sure everyone knows. Her face paled. You wouldn't dare. I whispered. You used her innocence. You used my absence. You destroyed her life. Then I straightened up. This time, I'm destroying yours. Her eyes widened. And for the first time since returning, I knew the tide was turning. 3 days later, everything was ready. Kamal had prepared the legal papers. We gathered all the evidence. Forged signatures, illegal documents, false debt, and multiple witnesses ready to testify. Everything was in place. Now, all that was left was to bring Layla out of that house. Not silently, not secretly, but in front of everyone. We chose a Sunday morning, the day her ex-husband's entire family usually gathered for breakfast. The street was quiet as Kamal and I approached the house. I could almost feel Layla inside, cleaning floors, preparing food, doing everything except living her own life. I knocked. The older woman, the mother-in-law, opened the door. Her face twisted the moment she saw me. You again? Yes, I said calmly. We need to talk. We have nothing to discuss. Leave. I pushed the door gently but firmly. I'm not leaving. She opened her mouth to protest, but Kamal stepped forward, flashing his lawyer's ID. We're here on legal grounds. You might want to invite your family into the living room. Her face changed instantly. Fear, panic, confusion. Her son, Layla's ex-husband, came down the stairs. What's going on? Kamal spoke calmly. We're here to discuss Layla's illegal debt and the forged marriage documents. The color drained from his face. What? That marriage, Kamal continued, was never legal. The documents were falsified. And your mother, he pointed coldly, knew it. The woman gasped. You can't prove that. Kamal held up a folder. We already have proof. The man swallowed hard. But she still owes us debt. Kamal smiled coldly. The debt was signed under a minor's name. That's illegal. Everything you force her to do. The labor, the restrictions, the threats, all illegal. The room went silent. Then I spoke. Bring her here. No one moved. I repeated, my voice sharper. Bring my daughter. Layla appeared at the top of the stairs, holding a tray. Her eyes widened the moment she saw me. Her hands shook. I could see she was terrified of what would happen next. Layla, I said gently, come here. She hesitated, looked at her ex-husband, looked at his mother, then looked back at me. Slowly, she walked down the stairs. The mother-in-law snapped, Where do you think you're going? But Layla kept walking, and when she reached my side, I placed my hand on her shoulder. No one touches her again, I said. The ex-husband pointed at me angrily. You can't take her. She's our property. Say that word again, I said quietly, and you'll be in handcuffs before sunset. He looked at Kamal, who nodded. It's over, the lawyer said. If you force her to stay, you'll be charged with illegal confinement. The woman looked desperately around. You can't prove we mistreated her. She ate what we ate. She lived in our house. I stepped forward. Show me her room. She froze. I said, show me her room. Reluctantly, they led us downstairs, into the basement. When they opened the door, I felt sick. It wasn't a room. It was a storage closet, a small bed, a single dim light, piles of cleaning supplies stacked beside her pillow. My heart broke in a way I didn't know was possible. Kamal took pictures silently. The ex-husband muttered, She insisted on living here. Stop lying, I snapped. Stop pretending you're anything more than cowards hiding behind tradition. Layla clutched my arm, shaking. Dad, please, let's just go. I nodded. Yes, we're leaving. The mother-in-law blocked the doorway. She can't. She owes. Kamal raised a folder again. She owes nothing. You owe her freedom. She looked at us, trembling with rage. This is not fair. I stepped close enough to look straight into her eyes. No, what you did to her was not fair. Then I took Layla's hand. Come, daughter, we're going home. And for the first time, she walked out of that house without fear. We left the house quietly, but inside me, everything was loud, relief, anger, love, all tangled together. Layla kept looking behind us, as if expecting someone to drag her back. I squeezed her hand. You're safe now, I whispered, but trauma doesn't disappear in a moment. I could feel her trembling, see her breathing change quickly every few minutes. She had lived in fear for so long that freedom felt unfamiliar, even dangerous. We bought a small apartment near the city center. Nothing fancy, but clean, bright, and safe. Layla walked inside like she was entering another world. She touched the curtains, the table, the sofa, like she was afraid everything might vanish. Dad, she whispered, is this really mine? Yours, I said, and no one will ever take it from you again. She started crying. Quiet, trembling tears. The tears of someone who finally feels a weight lifting off their chest. We spent the next days gathering her documents, changing her phone number, talking to counselors, visiting government offices. Everything was a process, but a process toward freedom. For the first time in years, she slept without fear. She woke up without being yelled at. She ate breakfast sitting at a table instead of standing in the kitchen. She smiled, slowly at first, then more freely. One evening, I found her sitting on the balcony, staring at the sunset. That color, she said softly. The orange one, it reminds me of the apricot tree we planted. I smiled. I was thinking the same. She looked at me. I thought you forgot me, she said. My heart tightened. I never forgot you. Not for a single day. I worked every hour in Canada for you, but I should have come sooner. I know that now. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You came when I needed you most. And somehow, that one sentence felt like forgiveness. During the next weeks, her ex-husband's family tried contacting her. They called, messaged, even tried visiting the new apartment. But Kamal handled everything legally. The threats disappeared once they realized we had enough evidence to take them to court. Then something unexpected happened. Layla's mother showed up. She stood in the hallway, shaking, her eyes red. "Layla," she whispered, "please, I want to talk." Layla looked at me. I nodded. She stepped forward, her voice calm but cold. "What do you want?" Her mother swallowed. I didn't mean for things to get so bad. "You signed debt under my name," Layla said. Her mother looked down. "I had no choice." "You had a choice," Layla said. "You chose yourself." Her mother sobbed. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Layla stepped back. "I needed a mother," she said, not an apology. Her mother tried to approach her, but Layla shook her head. "I forgive you," she whispered, "but I won't forget." Her mother froze. "And I won't let you be part of my pain anymore." Then she closed the door, and for the first time, she truly stood up for herself. I felt pride warm my chest. My daughter was healing. My daughter was rising. My daughter was finally living. 15 years. 15 years away from home. I thought I was building a future for my daughter, but I didn't see the cracks forming beneath her feet. Distance doesn't destroy families. Silence does. I left thinking love would survive without presence, but my absence became someone else's opportunity. They filled the space I left behind with lies, control, fear, and debt. But love, real love, has a way of returning stronger when it's finally given a chance to speak. Through this journey, I learned something important. A child never stops wanting their parent, even when they grow older, even when they pretend to be strong, even when the world tries to break them. Layla didn't need a hero. She needed a father who stood beside her. And when I finally did, she stood on her own. Today, she's rebuilding her life. She's taking classes, working part-time, learning new things, learning to breathe again, learning to dream again. And our relationship, the one the world tried to erase, is stronger than ever. Sometimes revenge isn't fire. Sometimes revenge is rebuilding. Sometimes revenge is healing. Sometimes revenge is living the life they never thought you would. And sometimes revenge is simply taking back your daughter from the hands of those who never deserved her.